now Ohio Republican gubernatorial nominee Vivek Ramaswamy is here with reaction to all of this. You know, I watched the whole decline now of the Democratic Party. They've been co-opted by radicals that want to defund, dismantle the police, et cetera. They want open borders. It's not in your race, but I'm looking like at the Senate race. Do people in Ohio understand that guys like Sherrod Brown will be forced to go along with that radical base if he ever got elected, God forbid? Do people not understand in Ohio that it's law and order, safety, security, and economics that's going to drive this election?
I think the people of Ohio have good common sense, Sean, but a lot of us here are looking at places like New York and California and Los Angeles and Minnesota and thinking that socialist madness only exists in those states. But I think people in Ohio are starting to wake up to the fact that that's a very real risk, that if we don't get it right this November, that could happen here in Ohio as well. I mean, the opponent I'm running against, this woman, Amy Acton, she has compared law enforcement to the KKK. Apparently, that seems to be a common Democrat theme now across the country. But you think about that, that's not who we are. And so this is an important choice, Sean. This is an important moment for Republicans to stand up for the actual values that made this country great. A choice between free enterprise and socialism, a choice between the rule of law and lawlessness, a choice between success and failure. That's what's on the ballot in places like Ohio. And I do think that especially as a lot of core conservatives begin to wake up heading into the election in November, we're going to see a rising tide for Republicans that lifts up not only my race, which I'm not worried about, but also every Republican down ballot to make sure we stand for what made this country great.
No, I think you're right. Law and order, safety, security is a prerequisite if you want to pursue happiness in your dream in life and whatever God-given talent you have. And the economy is top of mind for everybody. I mean, these are basic core issues. And this is now at the heart of what has taken over what used to be, I guess, an old Democratic Party that has been pushed to the side. And if there are moderate Democrats, they're unwilling to challenge, you know, these democratic socialist beliefs.
Well, the irony, Sean, is that these Democrat socialist policies, and increasingly these are one and the same. We say Democrat socialist, we can just call them the Democrat policies that favor increased government spending to solve all problems, are actually creating problems for the very people they purport to help. What drove that inflation was post-COVID spending, disastrous Biden-era spending policies that caused a lot of the costs of daily living to rise way faster than wages did. And who's hurt by that? The very people that the Democrats purport to represent, hardworking men and women across this country. I think we in the Republican Party have a different way, and it's the way I'm going to lead in Ohio. You want to bring down the cost of those electric bills? Produce more energy. You want to bring down the cost of housing? Let's cut the red tape that stops new home construction, build more homes, including those starter homes for young people. You want to put more money into those healthcare savings accounts and bring down the cost of healthcare? Step up and prosecute the Medicaid fraud, including in states like Ohio, where I will do it and get it done. These are the practical solutions that are actually going to improve people's lives, Sean. The turn to socialism is not the answer.
But, you know, your core message has always been for people to pursue their dream, their God-given talent,
yes,
to have success, that to make, you know, an economy where, you know, a rising tide lifts all boats, where everybody will succeed if they're willing to work hard. You know, the idea seems to be lost on these democratic socialists. How do you explain that?
Well, it's up to us, Sean, not to listen and cater to their tune, but to offer our vision of who we are and what we stand for and what made this country the greatest country known to the history of mankind. It is this basic idea that we still call and believe in, called the American dream. I know that exists because I have lived it in this state and in this country. And the reason I'm running is that I am grateful to our country for giving me opportunities that would not have been available to a kid like me in any other country on planet Earth. And my message to those who may turn to socialism is someone else's success doesn't take away from your success. It makes you more likely to succeed. We celebrate success in America. That is who we are. And if we remember that, we're going to have another 250 years and then some left to celebrate. that starts with winning this November, and I hope we get the job done here in Ohio.
A true meritocracy. I think you'll be a great governor there. Vivek Ramaswamy, thank you. All right, thanks for watching. Check out my new podcast, Hanging Out with me, Sean Hannity. The big interviews, the debates you won't get anywhere else. Like and subscribe for new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday.